questions about what Marcel Dixon and Tamara Johnson Shealy, they were very pro, and I guess I should say are very pro-black candidates that were running for senator and Congress people. Of course, we'll get a little bit more into that. But on the Demetra K Show, we promote black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even. And before I give it to Donovan, I will just say to everybody that's coming on here, YouTube and Facebook, you are the other side of the conversation. We actually call you guys the third co-host because you're not just viewers, but you are participants. This is one of the only shows that we read each and every comment. Well, we try to anyway. We can't do it anymore, but we try to get your comment a couple of times because we feel like you should be heard as well. The only other thing that I would ask is while you all are here, let's practice using some emotional intelligence where we do not allow our emotions to take over, that we use more logic than we do emotions, and also agree to disagree sometimes, right? Also remember that we are not always going to agree, but it's all love. We are still family, and we live to fight another day, as they would say. So Donovan, before we get started, what say you?
What I say is welcome to the Demetra K Show. Happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there. I don't care if you're a deadbeat father. I don't care if you're one of those people that they stereotypically call black men. Today is your day regardless. Today is your day regardless. If you got some mean women out there that think, oh, I'm the mother and the father, you're delusional. I'm going to say that right off the bat. You're delusional. Let us have our day. Now, the one thing that I have to say about Father's Day is, why is it that when it's Mother's Day, y'all want to go out to the restaurant, y'all want the roses, y'all want to, it's Mom's Day, and it should be. Now, let's look at Father's Day. Why aren't we going out to the restaurants? Why can't we get the sports tickets? No, y'all expect us to grill and do the cheap spot, and we out there grilling and doing whatever else we got to do, so I think it's a little bit of unfairness, but men, that is why we're men, and we just got to sit there and just take it. So do us a favor, hit that like button on Demetra's page and subscribe and even become a member if you feel like doing and want to be notified when Demetra drops those great videos. Yes, we need to talk about Marcel Dixon and Tamara Johnson Shealy for the simple fact that our elders are high-fiving each other and saying stuff like, "Wow, yeah, we put those young people in their place. We put them in their place." I think that is so sad that they are cheering for the demise of the people that are coming up behind them. And let's talk about that because their campaigns aren't over.
So, hello to everybody that came on here, Pioneer Sunlight Cortez, Bobby, and thank you so much, Mr. Marcus, for including that link. If you all are on Facebook and you're seeing this and you want me to read your comment, click on the link and type in whatever you want, and I will see it from my end, and I will love to read it. Hello, Pariahs. Who else came on here? Rain Love, how you doing? Jason Peters and TJ, and I hope I got everybody else so far. Of course, the agitator, Tracy and Moni, I said hello to earlier. All right, so as Donovan said, as you guys know, Greg Marcel Dixon, or as you guys may know him as Marcel Dixon, Jamarcus, how you doing? He was going up against that of Jim Clyburn in South Carolina, the 6th District, to be the representative or congressman. Well, that didn't work out so well for Mr. Dixon. He, I think, garnered about 4% of the vote, and of course, Jim Clyburn got about 88% or whatever. Been in the district as the congressman for over 30 years now, so that's not really a surprise. Also, we had Tamara Johnson Shealy, who was going up against that of Ralph Warnock in Georgia to be the senator. Her campaign didn't get as much attention as Marcel Dixon did, but she's been out there nevertheless stomping for that seat. And so again, those two candidates who are very pro-black, talking that of reparations and equality and all that for black people, they were not successful, I should say. So a lot of people are disappointed in that they did not go on to the midterm because this was only the primaries that they did not win per se or get enough of the percentage of the vote to progress on to the midterms. And so a lot of people are disappointed and things like that. But the good thing about running for Congress is that those seats are up for every 2 years. And so it's not too early, especially for that of Marcel Dixon, to start campaigning now and keep building on the momentum. But definitely do not get discouraged. I mean, it's never fun to lose, but it's not really a loss because he got on the map and he ignited the conversation around reparations and a whole host of other things that Black people in America they have been asking for and are due us. And so we just need to help him build on that momentum, whether it's donating to his campaign, helping him spread the word, and a whole host of other things. But we don't take our ball and go home because we were not successful. We regroup and we figure out how to come back even stronger. And the same thing is true for Tamara Johnson Shealy, as she is trying to become a senator, replacing that of Ralph Warnock, because Ralph Warnock is a status quo candidate, just like that of Jim Clyburn, who is a status quo candidate, and they do for everybody else but their own people. Going to South Carolina and Jim Clyburn's district, it is about 54% Black people, about 78% Democratic voters, and so he does nothing for them. Nothing for them specifically. He might give them a fish fry for what you guys say the fish is very dry. But I guess that's enough for a lot of people to say he did something for me. But that's not enough, right? He is sent to Washington to actually bring home the bacon for everybody, not just a few people. So, that's what I have to say about it. Now we need to stand behind him regardless, and then, push for the next time. And the same thing with Tamara Johnson Shealy. Donovan, what say you?
Yeah, because you guys got to look at it strategically. This man is 83 years old. Okay, and let's say he goes on to the general election and he wins. Okay, he'll be 85 next time going around. I firmly believe this may be his last term because he's been exposed. It's showing, his record is being shown. You guys are looking it up. All these different congressional candidates. So these guys, like Bobby Seals, a Panther, he decided to leave. Do you guys know there's a record number of Democrats leaving and retiring and deciding not to run for re-election because they've been exposed? Been exposed by who? The grassroots folks that are waking up and saying, wait a minute, hold on, what's going on here? It is unparalleled when your party is in power or holds the White House for you to leave, because that gives you more incentive to grift, right? So ask yourself, why are these people leaving now? It's better to leave while their people are in power and they could have some form of dignity and say, well, I wasn't there when, we got crushed. I left before all of that. So, they can hold on to that. So at 83 years old, Jim Clyburn this is probably his last term. Aunt Maxine, this is probably their last term. But here's the sad thing about the whole thing. What did they teach anybody that's coming up behind them? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then our elders wonder why there is such a gap between the millennials and themselves. Millennials think everything should be free. And then their generation, well, you got to work for everything you get. I'll make sure you work for everything you get. Why do you think that gap is there? Because they did not bring up younger people to replace them. Basically, when Jim Clyburn leaves, that's it. You might have a Marcel Dixon that will take the seat after that, and then he has to learn as he goes rather than having somebody already in place that will continue the legacy or the direction that you want to take Black people. And that happened during the Civil Rights Movement as well. Once they started killing off the leaders, what did you get? Keep hope alive, Jesse Jackson. The guy that gets into power, has affairs and whatever, and just becomes part of the establishment. And this is the problem. We do not teach the ones behind us. So I sent a message out, and I did a video out for Tamara Johnson Shealy and Marcel Dixon, and I told them, it's not over. If you're not going to run, which is very hard to run, you need to prepare the next grassroots of people to challenge the power establishment, because they exposed it. And it's a lot easier for the grassroots people to run when somebody is telling them what the perils are in the run. So like me right now, usually when people in my area start running, they come to me And I tell them what to look for, what not to look for, where to go, what not to go, what makes it easier for them, unlike somebody who didn't teach me. So big ups to them. It's not over. I think they have a responsibility to prepare the next group. And, let's face it, people, we are in DEFCON 4 right now. DEFCON 4. We are not making it. Our 401ks are being ripped apart. Whatever wealth that we have, we are now a permanent underclass. And these elders that are occupying these seats are doing damn near nothing about it. When they're dead, that's it. They don't care. So let's prepare the next group of leaders.
Hello, Brother Reggie, and everybody else that came on here. Thank y'all for joining us on this beautiful Father's Day weekend. My father is in California, and I am in Texas. So I spoke to him right before I came on to wish him a happy Father's Day. And he wanted me to tell y'all, every day is Father's Day. Don't sell him short. Don't sell your daddy short.
Yes.
Every day is Father's Day. So he wanted me to tell you that. So I did. That yes. And I like you. So Brother Jonell, how you doing? And happy Father's Day to you as well.
Yes.
So again, like Donovan said, in regards to the candidates that try to unseat the incumbents, there's always tomorrow, right? So it's disappointing right now, but, let's not sit in the disappointment. Let's re-strategize so we can go about the business of getting pro-black candidates in office. And Bobby, and I'm glad you brought that up, and J. Bubba, how you doing? It is also Juneteenth, where in 1865, June 19th, Galveston, Texas was the last to get the word that slavery was officially over almost 2 years before that, right? And so we have been given this day by the Biden administration to celebrate slavery ending, which I kind of find it hard to do. And so I don't want to rain on everybody's parade who is out there celebrating Juneteenth. I mean, I know definitely we should celebrate that for our ancestors who were unshackled, if you will, not experiencing the horrors of slavery, even though Jim Crow was just as brutal. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's a date that they officially gave us. It's actually going to be celebrated tomorrow. It's a federal holiday where businesses, I guess, are supposed to be closed and all of that. But like I said, for me, I just kind of find it hard to celebrate, being that we are not really free. Yeah, we're not shackled to anything unless you're in prison, right? But we are not really free as black people. Here we are still having a conversation about these elected officials, it's black elected officials especially, going to Washington and not doing anything for black people. Black people are in the worst conditions ever that we've really, besides slavery, I guess I should say, that we've been in since slavery in the Jim Crow era. So I don't know what we are really celebrating, to be honest with you. As I see it, it's a money grab for corporations. There's a lot of people who have businesses, a lot of white people, a lot of white corporations who are raking in more money. And the crazy part about this is, y'all, again, I'm not trying to rain on y'all parade who are celebrating it. But the crazy part about it is those who are celebrating Juneteenth right now, in 2 weeks are going to go celebrate the 4th of July when you really weren't free, right? 1776, black people weren't free for, 110 years or so. Almost 110 years after the Declaration of Independence. And so I think we just really need to get our priorities together. But celebrate now, but don't count that as a win for black people. That was nothing but a bone with no meat on it that the Biden administration threw us as black people to say, well, we did something for you, but that Juneteenth celebration didn't come with a check. It only came with, well, you Negroes are free, and be happy with that. So, again, I don't want to rain on your parade.
Thank you, Master Biden. Thank you. Woo! We gonna dance. We gonna electric slide our way out of all of this stuff. Sad. And the only people that were celebrating that were our elders. Every time you look at a video, who's dancing? Somebody at least 60 years old and older.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to rain because I don't like to do that when people are celebrating things. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, but I just think it should be said. And yes, Jay Bubba, you make a good point. I actually did a video on African Guys News Channel about that of Bakari. You guys are calling Bakari sellout, Bakari sellers, who is a CNN analyst or something like that.
Yeah, he was the youngest congressman elected at 21 years old.
22 years old, yeah,
22.
South Carolina. And so he was ebullient about the fact that Marcel Dixon was not successful, basically taunted him, saying, well, you know, he ran a campaign on Twitter, so basically that wasn't the way to go. And
If it wasn't the way, I'm going to cut you off. If it wasn't the way to go, then why did Bojangles Clyburn had to call in Kamala Harris, the second most powerful position in the world, to help him, and the whole Democratic machine to help him get off the edge if it was a dumb way to run a campaign? I'm just asking.
Right. Yeah, I mean, of course. But that's the status quo Negroes, if you will, who like to help sell black people oppression as long as they're getting their buttery biscuit, right? As long as they're getting theirs, they'll, you know, and to me, I was like, well, Bakari, what you're doing essentially is mocking that of grassroots efforts of black people who are saying, hey, all we want is a piece of the pie. We want something specifically for ourselves. And so he thought that was funny. And so, you know, that should be remembered about him. You know, thinking it's funny to mock black people who simply just wanted something for their vote. So we won't forget.
But yet, again, like I always keep saying, people say you got to be more respectful to our elders. Respect is earned. It's just not given. I mean, yeah, there's a decent type of respect, but look at these people celebrating that they beat down a younger generation and kept him in his place. What kind of thinking is that? And this is what we're dealing with, you guys. Let's call it for what it is. Yeah, you won this time, but at 83 years old, I don't see him running for another seat as as these people are being exposed.
Yes, indeed. Hello, Arson and Brother Samuel. How are you doing today? And Harriet, I see you're on here. So we're kind of changing format here. If you have a question that you want us to read, since we have a lot of people in the chat, if you have a question, put like question marks or question dash your question, or you know, whatever you want us to read, and we'll be more than happy to do that. That way we make sure that we get to those things, opposed to like reading everything, if that helps. So who else came on here? Eli, how are you? Yes, Rain, I love you. Say Marcel lost his job as a teacher.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying on Twitter. But he said it happened a couple of weeks ago that he was not asked to come back. I think he said after 17 or 18 years of being a teacher and, you know, being a great teacher on top of that, they did not ask him to come back. But it's like, well, I mean, yeah, they're probably not going to ask you to come back because now you're off talking points. They don't want you coming in there waking up black people and telling them who they are and what they deserve, right? The school system as it is in America, their job is to keep people asleep, especially black people. And so, yeah, they don't want you in there with all that rah-rah telling black kids you're kings and you're queens and you deserve so much more. Of course not. So I think it would behoove Marcel to start his own school. There's a lot of people who would be more than happy to enroll their black children in the black school where there's a black curriculum where they can learn knowledge of self and a whole host of other things that they're not being taught in the white school system, right? So, you know, it could be a good thing at the end of this. And Felicia, how are you doing? He says, greetings from the Netherlands. And we saw Brother Dixon, hashtag Leave Marching. I know that's right. Curly girl, how you doing? Darius says, Brother Sadiq, I actually heard your 45-minute show on Spreaker regarding Brother Marcel Dixon and Sister Tamara Johnson Shealy. I agree with your commentary. I also pray that both of them keep on pushing. Yes, indeed. And Pioneer says, slavery hasn't ended. It was just transformed from chattel slavery to the modern prison industrial complex. Absolutely. Correct. So again, you know, why are we really celebrating this, especially since most of our people are in those prisons. And Jamarcus, you say, a lion Joe fell off his bike. Yeah, I saw that he fell off his bike. I didn't really respond too much to that. People sent me things here and there. While I do not like Joe Biden, I don't want to make fun of him falling off of his bike. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people. I'm not saying that you're doing it either, Jamarcus, but I'm just saying I'm one of those people who like to critique people on things that matter. Not that, I mean, he fell off his bike. He's an older dude. I don't really wish harm on him. So I just kind of like, well, you know, that's too bad type of thing that he fell off his bike. Seems like he's okay. But let's focus on the things that he's really doing, but not doing to harm us. And Jan Michael, how are you? And Jonah says, zero white validation needed. The truth, the right, clean, the black Holocaust continues and it hasn't stopped. Exactly. Back Not Feeling says, official shackles slavery has ended, and we should never forget that. However, we are not free. We don't have our own country. We don't have our own economy or legal system. We are not free. Absolutely. And Brother Todd, how you doing? He said, peace, my great talk show host, Sister Dietrich. Yes, Brother Donovan. Each generation is responsible for the generation that comes after them. They must stop looking at the younger generation like they had and have nothing to do with their progress. Shame, shame, shame. Yeah. Absolutely. We all got to take responsibility for the role that we play in the generations after us. So, absolutely. And let's see here. It skipped up. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm back. And Harriet, you say, remembering those 200,500 Negroes, colored folks were freed that day. So you're talking about in Galveston, Texas. Okay, and Jay the Informant, how you doing? Brother Simon says, so they are literally House and Senate slaves. Good point. And Robin says, right, the 4th of July, when we really weren't free. But yeah, so we're going to take money out of our households for Juneteenth and then go do it again for July 4th. It's like, y'all see the insanity in that? That's crazy.
Well, that's because y'all Americans. Remember, you're American first. You're American first. But yet you got these white tribalism going on to where it's an R or a D in front of your name. Nothing about the law or anything like that, but they're going to tell you the most loyal citizen in this country is the black person. It is insane how we identify more so with being American than the white tribalism that's going on throughout the country.
TJ says, did y'all hear some white guy has applied to patent Juneteenth? I heard about the ice cream.
Yeah.
Or something like that, but I didn't hear about the whole holiday. Well, hell, they can have it. I mean, it really belongs to them anyway. They're going to end up making the most money. That holiday ain't just for us. That's for them, too. I mean, tomorrow they're going to get off work.
Federal holiday.
And for the holiday as well. So that wasn't just for black people. Hell, it's for them, too. I mean, if you ask me. So he can have it.
And you got to ask yourself this. Anytime you have to go to somebody else to grant you something, can't they take it away, too? So how is it our holiday if we got to ask Massa to give us something? How?
Absolutely. And Thundy says other communities have a protege, but not us, predecessors, and then successors. Let's be honest. When was the last time you saw these words, let alone said by a black politician, held by regular black folk? They're like, protege? I am the protege. Ain't going to be no protege within the next 30, 40, 50 years because I'm going to be here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, where are the people that they're grooming? Well, maybe Bakari Sellers is being groomed to take Jim Clyburn's place. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Alicia, you say hitting the like tells the algorithm there is an interaction on the stream. Do not lurk, share the like. So yes, if y'all could like this video, I would love and appreciate y'all. Beats by Dizzy. You says he was successful. They're talking about him. Yeah, that he got the conversation started. He being that of Marcel Dixon. And so, clearly there was some sort of a threat there, right? They thought that he could. But the other thing, too, is, I'm just going to put this out there, Jim Clyburn does not have the seat yet. He still has to challenge the Republican in November. So, I'm just putting that out there. Mm-hmm. And Harriet says, they grew up in Jim Crow segregation. They lived their lives in a different world. Yes, indeed. Yep. And hello, Moni. How are you doing? And Jay the Informant, you say, question, what did the youngest congressman accomplish?
Absolutely nothing. He got in line, gave his votes, and then got bounced his ass up out of there.
Yeah, he was that from, I think it was 2010 to 14 or something like that, and then he tried to run for lieutenant governor, and he was not successful, and now he, I think he has his own law firm, or he's working for some law firm, and he's on CNN. And
yeah, because wasn't he on the Black News Channel? Wasn't he a thing on the Black News Channel?
Yeah, I'm not sure. And let's see who else. And Felicia says he was successful globally. Greetings from a Caribbean residing in the Netherlands. Yes, indeed. And Brother Todd, he said Juneteenth is such a slap in the face for black folks. How are we free when we still have no freedom, justice, and equality to this day? Shaking my head. Yeah. But we think it is. We think it's something, but it's nothing more than symbolism, right?
See, that's what's wrong with you young folks. It's never enough for y'all. Y'all just always want something. We gotta get with it. The master gives you something, you ain't appreciative. They give you this, you ain't appreciative. You got a Crown Act, you ain't appreciative. We gave you a hip-hop holiday, you ain't appreciative. That's what's wrong with y'all young motherfuckers. Y'all quit fucking with us.
Okay. Moni, you say, I think the summary when Mr. Dixon raises a lot more money from his own community, I think he can have a better shot in 2 more years. He gave it a great run and he shook them up. He had them scared. Well, his community being black people, is that what you're speaking of?
Yeah, and real quick, I'm going to cut you off. Real quick, another thing that I told Marcel in an email was when you raise that kind of money in politics, you've got to spend it. Okay, you have to spend it. I think he still had like half of the $100,000 was left in his thing when the primary was done. When you're going up against a juggernaut, it makes no sense to save that money. Spend it all, because now the money just has to sit there now. It has to sit there until he's going to do something more political with it. It ain't like he can go and spend it somewhere and give it to his family like Clyburn does and do all that stuff. When you guys, if you guys are ever run for office, get you what I did, okay? Demetra, ask me what did I do when I first ran for office.
What did you do, Donovan?
I went and got me a PR person who is going to sit there and tell me the damn truth if I like it or not, and what I needed to do in regards to my appearance, how I talked, and, my perception to the crowd.
How you spoke.
Right, exactly. So, and that PR person was Demetra.
I was glad to be of service.
Yes.
And I thought I'm gonna leave you a question up because I actually like that. And Sissy, you say, how you doing? It says those old black folks that want to die in office have done so much damage to our community,
Yeah.
and they'll continue to do that until they take their last breath. Right? Monet, how you doing? And Robbie said this is not a loss for Marcel. He's just getting started, and he had a lot of support on the national level. Yes, he did. And Ariel, how you doing? It says, Shalom, my beautiful, beloved Sister Demetra and Big Brother Don. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here. Thunder has a question. He says, what are some Father's Day songs? I can't think of any.
God. Family Reunion by the OJs?
Papa was a rolling.
No, that is not it. That is not it. Let's see. Family Reunion, I guess, by the OJs, even though it doesn't really have a connotation for father, but it kind of encompasses the family. God, you're right, man. That's a good question, Thunder. What? It doesn't come to me right now.
Don't preach. I'm in love with Papa.
Madonna, Papa Don't Preach. Wow. How about You Are Everything by the Stylistics? How about that one?
You're a big girl now.
Right.
No more daddy, little girl. I don't know. I'm sure somebody will think of some.
Don't Look Back by the Temptations.
Okay.
Bernadette by the Four Tops. When She Was My Girl. Four Tops. That's a good question. That was a good one.
Got you. Jada Foreman, I see your comment where you say Dr. Umar can help him build a school. Just kidding. Crazy. I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm not going to touch that. All right, so question. I'm going on to the questions now, y'all. So question, TJ says, did y'all hear that some white, like I said, that guy has applied for, so we put that up. Yeah, I heard about the ice cream. I didn't hear about the actual patent for, what you call it, Juneteenth.
Yeah. Eli Illuminate says, Dance with My Father. There's one. That's one. Dance with My Father.
Luther Vandross.
Yes. Dance with My Father.
Okay, so who else came on here with a question? And I'm going to acknowledge everybody. Let's see. Kid Grebo, one, how you doing? And let's see, Darius, he said tools, they break them. All righty. And let's see here. Jafia, what's going on with you? And the old God, how you doing? And again, happy Father's Day to all of you all out there. Jay Bubba says, yep. His economy is a mess. And, the economy is a mess. And Jim Crow Joe, all right, like sad. Yeah. I guess. And Cecil, how you doing? Says Shalom family. Demetra black people call themselves leaders and they're trying to do this, that, for black people, but what have they done?
Well, I listened to some of her comments. They get their money from the same thing. Donald Trump said it himself. I give to both parties. It's as simple as that. So if Citizens United is the biggest thing in
She ain't adding nothing of value that I want to keep listening to, because you cannot be disrespectful to people who have been doing this longer than you've been alive. You know what I'm saying? We all, I think, should realize our place. I'm not saying that our ideas should be discounted, but I don't think that we have the right to be disrespectful to people who have come before us. So like I said, I've told her and Antonio out, and not just them, but a lot of other people who I feel are very divisive to black people. So that's really what I gotta say. Shane, how you doing? I see your comment. I'm gonna read it to myself. And let's see here. Monique, you said it goes like this: Father's Day is for those fathers who took the time to stay in their children's lives, who took the time to be around the good times and bad times, get the family. Nope. As I said on my page on Facebook and Instagram, Happy Father's Day, period. We don't need to do pre-qualifications when it comes to saying Happy Father's Day. I think that's the only day we do that too. It's really Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to the fathers who can jump over the moon and they go through the hoops of fire and then take all this and swim at the Decathlon. Like to say Happy Father's Day. Yes, as I said, and I say this to you more than ever said in general, that's the difference between free and free. Free means free from your hand, but not from your control. Very
Right.
good. And Beats by Disney says black people spend $1 trillion a year on their holidays. Stop it. Yeah, well, we ain't gonna do it again. Let's see here. Michael M., how you doing? And more black, how you doing? Say hi, Miss Demetra. Is there a way to contact? Yes, via email. Yes, there is. DemetraK@gmail. If they granted us the holiday, they can take it away too. So important to remember, as more credit we give them, the more power they progressively have over us. Brother Todd, he said Juneteenth holiday is a biscuit with no damn butter. Exactly, a very dry biscuit.
and Dimitri, let me ask you a question real quick. Michelle.
What I look like wanting something. Okay? So I see you guys are all putting up songs with the word Father. You guys did say Dance with My Father, everybody. Dear Mama remix, Father's edition. Never heard of that before. And yes, more black. Hopefully you got that as DK, DemetraK@gmail.com. DemetraK@gmail.com. And Lady Ace, how you doing? Yes, indeed. Happy Father's Day and Juneteenth to everyone. I love my daddy. Without my daddy, I would not be here talking to you all, because it is my dad, who has imparted or put a lot of wisdom and knowledge in me that I can have these conversations with you all. As I said, if it wasn't for my father, I wouldn't be here at all, right? And so I feel sorry for any black father that does not feel recognized or loved. But if it is going to cause controversy, violence, and fighting from now to next year, April, which is not good, I'll be so glad when Jupiter gets out of Aries' bad omen. Well, I'm in Aries. I hope I had nothing to do with that. All right, so let's see here. Who else came on here? I'm looking for a question. Facts not feeling. She says Marcel ran a great race. He is outspent. He was outspent, and old folks did not warm up to him. Next time, dye hair gray, sound more like Clyburn. Then hit them old folks over the head with reparations when in office.
South, I noticed that Southern people are more literal.
I don't know. I love my father, just like I said, just as much as I love my mom. So, all right. So I'm looking for questions. And Robbie, you say the illegals, Afghans, and the Ukrainian refugees didn't vote, but they got tangibles. Yes, indeed. That Michelle Obama. Yeah, I guess maybe we shouldn't vote. See what happens. And let's see here. And Brother Reddy says, "Song for My Father" by Horace Silver for all my jazz heads. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. And Rain Love, he says, my father wasn't shit. He gets no acknowledgement, just like he did me.
Yikes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, what about